Hello everyone and welcome to a new reading. Today we are finishing off with IVE, so we are doing the youngest member of this group. In this reading we are going to check her current energy, her career, her love life, and any healing messages that come through. And I guess we can just jump right into it. So first let's check Leeseo's let's check her current energy. How is she currently doing right now? Oh, that's actually very good. So it seems like big things are happening for her right now. She's going through like major shifts in her life, and those are part of the experience that she came to have on Earth, seeing how most of these cards are very important, two of them being Major Arcana and one of them being a court card. So usually Major Arcana are like checkpoints in life, like things that we are meant to experience, things that are fated. It's not a momentary thing, but it's something that has been on the horizon for a while, or is a life lesson that we are meant to like learn from and experience for sure. But before I get to that, let's talk about the court card. So here we have the Queen of Pentacles, which kind of shows that right now she is in an energy where she is feeling pretty happy, pretty content. She feels very stable. She feels like a successful individual. She's very she's in a state where she's able to not only give energy to herself but to other people. So she's able to nurture others, care for others, and be there for other people, be like that support for others. So she's kind of like a rock right now in that sense, right? She's someone people can lean on and rely on. The other thing though with this Queen of Pentacles, it kind of shows that even though she is very young, she's currently feeling very confident. She's feeling very grounded and centered in her own energy, and she feels very happy about her career and the direction that it's going in. Seems like right now she doesn't feel tired, she doesn't feel overwhelmed or annoyed by it. Instead, she's just celebrating her accomplishments. She's taking things one step at a time. She's not jumping the gun, as some people say. So she's taking her time with all the little things that have to be done to accumulate success in her career. Seems like she feels like she's in a spot where she has all of the things that she needs in life, and because of that she's able to just enjoy and get what she wants. She feels like she's also in an energy where she doesn't really feel like she needs anything. She feels pretty happy and pretty confident in not only her person but also in her situation currently. She feels very lucky and abundant, as we have the bunny right here. A lot of ideas are just going through her. She feels very creative currently. She could be very, very stubborn about accomplishing her dreams, so any little successes and wins that she's getting along the path, she takes them with a lot of happiness and gratitude. So right now she's doing very well for herself. Now the card in the middle that we have right here is the Justice card. So right now she feels very balanced. So not only is she physically doing very well, so even her health is fine and her situation is fine as well. This Justice card kind of shows that she is very well balanced right now. She's in harmony. Her judgment is clear. She's able to think very clearly and know what she's thinking, as well as being able to analyze her thoughts in such a way that it doesn't bring her down, but instead gives her the clarity necessary to just continue moving forward and accomplishing her goals. This Justice card talks about, of course, justice, fairness, and harmony, as well as balance. So I do feel that her environment is one where she feels very happy. She feels like everything's working out nicely. She understands her situation, and she feels like she can easily communicate her ideas as well as the people that she's with. She feels that there's an overflowing harmony in her environment, maybe her family, her friends, or her co-workers. Like, she feels everything's working nice. This is a Libra card, and we had a Taurus card right here, so I do feel Venus is very important. So right now she feels like she feels very confident and beautiful, but she also feels like life has a lot of beautiful things to offer and a lot of good things to bring to her life. So she is very content and happy with what she's experiencing, and she actually looks forward to what life has to bring. She feels like she's collecting good karma right now. Like, she feels like what she's doing is going to bring her a lot of abundance and a lot of good fortune in the future, because she trusts that what she's doing is meant for her, and she knows that she will get a happy ending at the end, because that's just what she's trying to manifest. Like she believes in her power and in her hard work, basically. Now the last card that we have for her current energy is the Devil reverse. So usually the Devil up, so this is Capricorn energy. Usually the Devil upright talks about someone that is under the illusion of something. They feel like they don't have the control over their life. They feel constricted by other people's expectations, usually cultural expectations, or maybe I guess ancestral expectations even. But like I always see the Devil card as society, right? The pressures of things have to be done by this time because that's usually how everybody does it, or that's the expectations that society has put in us, or those are the things that we were conditioned to believe in, and all of those things, right? So I do feel that this card is being reversed is actually a very good sign. This shows that currently she's kind of working on that mentality of things have to be this way, they have to be done this other way. Seems like she's working in her career in such a way where she's not blinded by anything. Again, she has her mind very clear and she's very grounded and centered. So it's going to take a very big hit or a bunch of multiple hits that accumulate in such a way that it overthrows all of that confidence and stability that she has for herself, as well as that the clear judgment that she has. So the Justice card being right next to the Devil kind of shows that right now she feels in such a harmonious space that there's nothing bothering her in the sense of getting in the way of her beliefs, getting in the way of her self justice of sorts. So like she's bringing justice to herself is kind of strange to say as well, but like she's doing things that make her happy, and she's not taking into consideration what's like the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do according to society. So let's say that right now one example I was getting was that maybe people criticize her for being so young and already in the industry, but she generally doesn't care because she's just happy doing what she's doing. And this will be a sign of the Devil being reversed, right? There's outside expectations that want to bring her down, but she doesn't leave any room or space for it because she's just very happy doing her own thing. So this card being reversed is actually very good, and I think she's in such a space that she can continue with her goals, with her ambitions, with her dreams in life, and not being held back by anybody else or being under the illusion that she can't do it because of the way that she was conditioned to think in life, if that makes sense. Let's jump to the next section of her reading, which is her career. So how is Leeseo's career doing? We have build. I guess that makes sense. How is her career doing? Discernment. Okay, so here we have the card Cattail with a build. So clearly there's something that she's working on. There is something that she's aiming for. She's still, with the build card, I feel like she's still working on building a strong foundation for her career. Like she hasn't really put anything on it. She hasn't really worked on any projects that we as the public can see. If anything, she's just setting the foundation. So in other words, she's meeting the right people, she's learning the right skills, she is slowly building a name for herself. Those are the things that are kind of settling her foundation in her career, and that's the things that she's focusing on. Again, with the cards that she got previously for her current energy, right now she's in a space where she is slowly making her way to her dreams and slowly adding to her success. So I don't think she's in any rush to make her dreams like a reality. I think she really trusts in the process that she's going for, and she really trusts in the success that is meant for her. Now the other card that we have right here is discernment. So I do feel that in her career right now, she's learning who to trust and who not to trust, who to work with and who not to work with, and she's also learning what are the things that work for her and that don't work for her. So in this case, I mean, like, what are the specific things she would like to specialize in. So let's say maybe we don't know yet, but she would like to write music. Like she would like to either compose or write lyrics for music, right? Something along those lines. Like right now she's still trying to figure out her place in the industry. She's figuring out a lot more I guess she just wants to experience life a little bit more before she makes a decision on what she's going to focus on in her career. She strikes me as someone that is a bit laser focused, so whatever her goal is, she takes baby steps toward that goal. Like she doesn't necessarily like take super big leaps to reach her goals. She actually takes things one step at a time, and she's not rushing herself towards finding out what that goal is, and she's also not rushing herself in getting to that point, that goal basically. So that discernment card tells me that right now, just like she's building a foundation of in her career, she's also trying to build a strong foundation in her mind, in her mentality. So right now she's very good with her clear judgment that we have right here with the Justice card. Right now, Leeseo is in a space where she is learning how to just observe and gather knowledge. She's not taking action just yet because she's analyzing and processing information to figure out what's the best next step for her, as well as what's the best goal for her in her career. Now let's take out some cards to get more details about her career, what's going on. We have the Queen of Swords reversed. Let's get details. Oh, okay. Okay, so we have big cards again. So the Queen of Swords reverse kind of tells me that right now she's not speaking her mind yet. Again, she's observing and analyzing the situation. So if there's things that she wants to say, she hasn't spoke up about them yet because she wants to she's kind of testing the waters, and she first wants to figure out where she stands, what she really believes in, and what she wants to fight for. She's picking her battles right now. So if there's something that she feels like she doesn't really have to argue or disagree with someone because it will be pointless or a drainage of energy, it will be a waste, she kind of just keeps it to herself instead. She's picking her battles very wisely right now in her career, so she's not getting in unnecessary fights. But that also kind of shows that she's not really speaking up her mind. She's not just saying things how she believes it to be. She's not saying things how she sees it. But that's because right now she's in a state where she's observing how things work, the dynamics that people have, the expectations and the methods used in her industry. So she's just kind of like assessing the situation before she actually starts. So the discernment card shows that she's observing. She's just watching things very carefully. So she's not complacent, nor is she just... there's no sense of like resignation with where she's at in life. If anything, she's just being very smart about it. Instead of wasting her energy, even if she takes one step at a time and is very slow moving energy, she still knows how to go about it in a way where she's consistently getting towards her goals. So she's not necessarily... Because here we have the Four of Cups, and the Four of Cups usually talks about someone that's resting, or someone that is bored, or is not seeing things that are being offered to them. But in this case, it kind of feels like right now she's just relaxing. She's not pushing herself to reach a goal. She's not pushing herself to even think of a goal that she wants in life, in her career. If anything, right now she's in a state where people think that she's doing nothing, or where people think that she's just relaxing or whatever, but that's because she's analyzing the situation. She wants to observe first before she starts thinking of her next moves in life. So in a way, she's being very smart about how she's achieving her goals, because right next to it we have we have the Emperor, which is number 4. So again, number 4 talks about stability. It talks about being centered and grounded. It talks about stable foundations. It talks about home even. So with this Emperor card, it kind of shows that right now in her career, she's not necessarily taking action because she has a very mature outlook on life, and she knows when is the right time to take action, and she knows that it's not always the moment you think about something or the moment you're driven and motivated to do something. She knows that sometimes she just needs to think things through a bit more and a bit deeply and be calmer when taking action. So this Emperor card kind of shows that she feels at the top of the world. She feels, again, very, very confident with her decisions and very confident with the actions that she's taking, specifically in her career right now. She feels very happy with just building a stable foundation for herself and just observing before taking action and further steps towards building on top of that foundation. So she's concentrating on her stability before actually doing anything that can physically be seen by other people outside of her. So yeah, right now she's just kind of resting and observing, just gathering information for her own benefit later on. Now let's go on to the next section of her reading, which is her love life. So what's going on with Leeseo's love life? Oh, we have Wormwood Caution. That's very interesting. What's going on with Leeseo's love life? And then we have Revision. So clearly she's being very cautious with her love life right now. Seems like she's not trying to get close to anyone. Seems like she's not trying to enter any romantic relationships with anyone. She's not entertaining that idea either. Here we have greens and yellow, so it tells me that she is working on her heart space. She's working on achieving her dreams. She's working on just being happy, on being comfortable, on feeling at home with her decisions, with herself, with her environment, and I guess even feeling comfortable with the idea of love. So in this case, I do feel like it's romantic love though. She's trying to feel comfortable with that idea and opening up to that as well. But the yellow talks about the solar plexus, so that tells me that she's working on being more optimistic. She's just continuing on feeding her creativity, and she's trying to also continue being more confident. But here with the card that we have here that is his caution, I do feel that in her love life, since she's very young and she has barely started her career in the K-pop industry, I do feel that she knows that right now the worst thing that could happen to her is a dating scandal of sorts. And because of that, she's being very cautious with who she hangs out with, very cautious with how she goes about doing things. She's also very cautious with how she talks to people so that others don't get the wrong idea. She's trying to avoid misunderstandings to the best of her abilities. Like, she's trying to make sure that she doesn't put herself in situations where others can use it against her. So she's being very cautious with the people she hangs out with and who she talks to, and in front of who as well. So this tells me that in her love life, when it comes to romance, she is being very cautious of that area of her life, because she just doesn't want trouble, and she can't really be bothered with what other people have to say. So she doesn't want to like fuel anything. The other card that we have right here is Revision. Here it feels like there's a dragon, so that kind of tells me that she has a lot of knowledge that she's I don't know why synthesizing came to my mind. I'm not 100% sure what that means, but the best way I can describe it, if I remember correctly, is like synthesizing kind of shows that she is gathering a lot of information and processing it in such a way that she can digest it in understandable or smaller bits, if that makes sense. So she's bringing these big ideas and making them smaller size, bite-sized, a lot more manageable and more understandable type of way. That's kind of what I mean. So with this Revision card, I do feel that she is trying to see the different sides of love and the different perspectives of love. So aside from romantic, self-love, family bonds, friendships, work, all of those things, right? Learning the love of her environment, the love with her work, the love with time and space and memory. So she's learning about all types of love and trying to understand it and trying to see the extent of benefits and conflicts that each ways of love can bring to her, if that makes sense. But this Revision card tells me that she is just thinking about things differently, trying to view things differently. So with this Caution card, I do feel that since she wants to have, I guess, a clear mind, or she wants to live her life as comfortably as possible, so she doesn't want to like rock the boat for issues and troubles, I guess this Revision card kind of shows that she's trying to constantly, not necessarily update her mind, but she's always looking of ways that she can create a safe space for herself, and how to do things differently, and how to think about things differently, and how to speak about things differently in such a way that she can continue keeping herself safe, and also her privacy. I think she could be quite private about how she feels about situations and people. So this doesn't necessarily mean that she never talks about herself. I'm just saying that the way that she feels about things, she keeps that to herself, and she's very private. I do feel that she could also be very private with her relationships, so a lot of people may not necessarily know who are her close circle of friends, or in this case, romantic partners. Because that's just how she is. She's not necessarily trying to hide it. She just feels more comfortable keeping it to herself. Okay. So let's see. Any details about Leeseo's love life? So we have Strength reverse and the Page of Swords reverse. So first of all, she seems to be very inexperienced with the idea of love, specifically romantic love, because the Page of Swords reverse kind of tells me that she doesn't even know how to think about it, or she doesn't even know where to start. She doesn't really know how to go about it as well. So she may be very hesitant to start relationships because she doesn't know what she'll encounter, nor does she know how to navigate that side of it. The Strength card reverse kind of shows that she is struggling with internal. This is Leo energy, so she may struggle a little bit with her confidence, or she may struggle to put herself in the spotlight when it comes to her love life. So in her current energy, we see that she's very confident, and also in her career, we see that she feels very confident about the actions that she's taking. But in her love life, she feels very inexperienced. She feels like she lacks the knowledge. She feels like she lacks the words to express herself and to be understood. And she also feels like she lacks the headspace necessary to allow relationships to enter her life, like romantic ones, I mean, in this case. That's why the Page of Swords is reversed. So there's also a chance that she's not necessarily too curious about romance right now. Like, seems like she for her own safety, she wants to be as far away from it as possible. She knows she's young, and she knows her career is really taking off, so she doesn't want any trouble. And also, again, the Strength card being reversed kind of shows that she hasn't built up the strength necessarily to start dating or to be starting romantic relationships. So what I mean by that is that she hasn't necessarily felt the confidence. She hasn't felt the beauty. It seems like she also doesn't really know how to handle or how to, again, navigate relationships, and because of that, she feels like she doesn't have the strength, or in this case, the skill to go about it. And because of that, she is not worrying about relationships, or she's not even bothered with it. She's not given too much time or space or thinking about romance because she's inexperienced, and she can't be bothered with it right now, since it will be a lot more of a hindrance to her current goals than anything else. So yeah, the Strength card reverse kind of shows that she needs to work a little bit with her confidence and self-love, and that will allow her to be a little bit more open to romance if it comes down to it, if the door ever reaches her anytime soon and stuff along those lines. So I do feel that there's still things that she's working on, but that's because right now that's not her focus. Again, I mentioned earlier that she's very laser focused, so if love and romance is not her focus right now, she'll push it to this side because there's other things that she's very busy working with, which at the moment it seems like it's her career, which makes sense because it's barely starting. Now let's jump to the last section of this reading, which is the healing messages. So any healing messages for Leeseo? Am I saying her name right? I just realized, am I? I think so. Oh, we have all the cards we need. That's good. Like, I usually take 3 cards. That's why I'm like, we have all the ones we need. And then 4 came out. That's fine too. So the first card that we have here is Giraffe Spirit with See the Bigger Picture. So I think right now, even though there's nothing wrong with her laser focusedness, because that allows her to just take those baby steps toward her goal and always feel like she's achieving something and accomplishing something, this Giraffe Spirit reverse kind of shows that life wants to encourage her to try to see the bigger picture, and by that is to be able to see the accomplishments that she has achieved at this point, but also to start managing her energy in a way, so like that she knows where she's going and how much effort and time it might take for her to reach those things. Because I do feel that soon enough she'll reach a point in her life where her goals are not going to be as linear anymore, and there's going to be multiple paths that she can take to achieve a certain goal, and life wants her to see the bigger picture so she's able to, in a way, get a heads up of which path will be the most convenient for her. So in this case, I feel that she's eventually going to reach a crossroads of sorts, not necessarily like which path is the most ideal for her as in like good or bad, but more as in like currently in the state that she's in, which path is the most comfortable for her to take, and I do feel that she's gonna get a heads up because opportunities and choices are starting to enter the picture of her life. So what I mean by that is that now she's gonna have a little bit more options in her career and how she wants to go about it and how she wants to succeed in that area of her life. So now that will bring in extra factors that could kind of throw her off her balance, right? It's not as linear anymore of like just work every day and you'll get there. It's kind of like, okay, so now what do you want to do? And that could like not hold her back, but like kind of like take her aback a bit. The other card that we have here is a Parrot Spirit with Watch Your Words. So yeah, she's being very cautious with this Queen of Swords reverse, but also with that one being reversed, it could show that she could be holding in so much energy that if she's not careful, it can explode and like come off the very wrong way to other people. So I do feel that with Watch Your Words, there's two things that are coming to my mind. One of them is how she thinks about things and her goals. So like that she doesn't start blinding herself or putting obstacles of stagnation because of fears that of her overthinking can create for her, if that makes sense. That seemed like a mouthful. But the other thing with Watch Your Words is the thing that I mentioned earlier, that life just wants her to be very careful with what she says because she's holding back so much that, again, it could come off very wrong to other people. And that could get her in some trouble because, again, she's trying to avoid it. So even if it's not a big deal for other people, for her, it could be a big issue because she's being very cautious and she's doing her best to not cause trouble. So if she ever just kind of explodes on someone, she could create waves and consequences that she may not really want to deal with because it could be a bit burdensome. But I do feel that it's just part of her learning experience, so there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. It's just kind of part of her life. But yeah, there's just kind of like a warning of watch her words. So yeah, watch her words so she doesn't get in trouble with other people, and watch her words so like that she doesn't hold herself back by stagnancy and fears. The other card that we have right here is the Eagle Spirit reversed with Spirit Has Your Back. So with this card being reversed, I do feel that right now she's in a mentality where she feels like she has to do everything on her own. She's not necessarily trusting fate or destiny or life or other people. She's relying on herself very strongly. And I do feel that this card is here to kind of show her that she's not on her own. So she doesn't have to put all of that burden on herself. Because she could, if she continues that way, she can reach burnout very quickly. And that could be very discouraging because she will need to take time off to heal. And I don't necessarily mean that it will reach the point where she'll have to go on a hiatus. I'm just saying that it would just create a lot of unnecessary weight that she'll carry during her work because of the healing that she has to do. And the industry that they're in, when I mean like K-pop idols, is one that is not, well, a lot of jobs actually are not very forgiving with timeouts and are never really forgiving with like giving people the time that they need to just bring themselves back together. So I do feel that with Spirit Has Your Back, life and destiny and her spirit guides just want her to know that she's not on her own, so she doesn't have to carry all of those burdens on her own. She doesn't, she can ask her spirit guides for help. She doesn't have to always rely on herself to make her dreams come true. Like, yeah, every little step that she's doing, it's good efforts and it's good work and it will get her to her goal, but it will be nice if she started to see the bigger picture that life wants to kind of bring her, so like that she can start seeing things from such a different point of view that she can save herself some time and energy and not overwork herself in a way. Now the last card that we have right here is the Frog Spirit, which was actually at the bottom of the deck when I had first started shuffling, and it says clear out the clutter. So the biggest message that life has for her is to make sure that she's not overthinking something, to make sure that she's not overworking herself, because I do feel that the biggest fear right now is burnout. Since she's trying to avoid issues, okay, not every single conflict or problem she encounters is going to lead to something very bad. Maybe at the moment it could seem bad, but in the long run it will get rid of things that don't work for her anymore or that are not meant to be in her life. So conflict is not always a bad thing. She can learn from that, and she could also, again, destroy things, baggage and extra energy that she doesn't need in her life anymore. So conflict is not always necessarily a bad thing. So with clear out the clutter, I do feel that since she's trying so hard to avoid that conflict, she's putting herself in a position where it is leading to a very messy one if she loses her cool. So I don't think she's anywhere close to losing her patience or getting angry to a point that it could cause her a lot of backlash of sorts. But I do feel that life wants her to be a lot more open, a lot more comfortable, and a lot more, I guess, lighten her responsibilities, burdens, and her constant work of avoiding conflict. Like, life wants to encourage her to just not push herself that much, because that's taking a lot of her energy and a lot of her time and a lot of her mental space. If anything, with the frog spirit, I do feel that life is saying that the moment that she gets rid of that baggage, she gets rid of those worries of things that haven't happened yet, then it will be easier for her to not build up unnecessary stress, and that will allow her to be able to take even greater leaps of faith, just kind of trust even more in what's going on in her life, and be able to just instead of doing those baby steps, she'll be able to accomplish her goals a bit faster, because she'll be able to just she's not carrying such a heavy load with her when she's moving forward in her mission and in her life and in her goals, that she will be able to move a little bit faster than what she's currently moving in. By being so cautious and trying not to cause trouble, she's actually causing a lot more trouble to herself, in a way. So there's a sense of like she needs to learn how to balance that out a little bit more. But with all of that said, I hope you guys like this reading. I am officially done with all of IVE, so you guys can expect to see more readings for them in other sections now that I've completed all of their individual ones. You may see them in the friendship ones, you may see them in the girlfriend readings, to figure out what type of girlfriend they are, or stuff like that. I'm trying to think of other readings that I do. So yeah, so now that their individual readings are done, they have unlocked the other type of readings that I do for idols. So I can't wait to see you guys there whenever that happens. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys like this reading. I'll see you in the next one, whenever that is, however that is. And love and healing from my part to you. And